Hey, did you guys know? Did you guys know that Cenk, Uygur, and Reza Aslan could read minds? Take a look at this.
This is what Bill Maher and Sam Harris mean when they say liberals don't refuse to criticize Islam. What they mean is liberals refuse to condemn all Muslims like we do.
That's
what
exactly
they mean.
right.
Okay, if you do not know who Cenk, Uygur, Reza Aslan, and Sam Harris are, it really doesn't matter. What matters is the principle involved. It is intellectually dishonest to say, when she says a little, she really means a whole lot. Nobody's a mind reader. Nobody really knows when Sally says X, she really means Y. This is intellectually dishonest in intent.
This is what Bill Maher and Sam Harris mean when they say liberals don't refuse to criticize Islam. What they mean is liberals refuse to condemn all Muslims like we do.
That's
what
exactly
they mean.
right.
Well, if they can get away with doing that to somebody, then we could do the same thing to them. The principle applies to all. So, when Cenk says,
Government should be in the business of cops, but it shouldn't be in the business of sneakers.
what he really means is, I'm glad that the original Young Turks killed a few million Armenians in an Armenian genocide. And when Reza Aslan says,
It's just a undeniable fact that there are millions and millions of Muslims who are countering violence, who are constantly speaking out against Islam.
what he really means is, I lie about Islam and I lie about my own credentials, which I make a big deal out of in the first place. And then when Cenk says,
I talk about my family. We're Turkish, so I'm not Muslim. Okay, I have rejected the faith. Okay, I don't believe it.
what he really means is,
The Muslims are worse than everyone else.
and then when Reza says,
The reason why Sam Harris is a fundamentalist, like any other fundamentalist, is because he reads the scripture the way a fundamentalist reads the scripture.
what he really means is,
Harris is a better expert in what Islam is or means than the 1.6 billion Muslims in the world.
and then when Cenk says,
But the reason my uncle is not denouncing ISIS is because he's busy taking pictures.
what he really means is,
I'm going to kill you for your beliefs. Right?
when Reza says,
Scripture is just words on a page.
what he really means is,
All religions are bad, but Islam is the worst of them.
and when Cenk says,
Now, those people happen to be violent, but they're an exception, right?
what he really means is,
When it is violence, when planes do crash, it's almost always Muslims.
when Reza Aslan says,
Certainly the issue here for a lot of these new atheists, whether we're talking about Dawkins or Harris or what have you, is a complete misunderstanding of religion in general.
what he really means is,
I have been washed by the blood of the Lamb.
when Cenk says,
I'm going to be a bad guy here and say Don Lemon's a little simple, okay? He's a simplistic guy.
what he really means is that the Young Turks gets paid through Al Jazeera by rich Qatarians to put an Islamist spin on everything. When Reza says,
Islam is a man-made institution. It's a set of symbols and metaphors that provides a language for which to express what is inexpressible. And
what he really means is that according to the Quran, all Muslims need to wage a violent jihad until over the whole of the world, religion is only for Islam. And then when Cenk says,
Whereas the text of the Quran says be violent, that is why Muslims are violent.
Well, the
more
text of-
violent on average.
what he really means is,
Come on, are we not blind? We're not,
Right.
you're insulting our intelligence. It's always the Muslims.
and then when Reza says,
you can believe whatever the hell you want to believe.
what he really means is,
I'm going to kill you for your beliefs.
Beliefs.
Right?
when Cenk says,
I look at the Bible or the Quran, I think, okay, that's crazy.
what he really means is,
I know it's not true, right? He didn't actually talk to Allah. There actually is no Allah. You know that.
Yeah.
You know, it was one of the idols that he picked in a Meccan square.
and when Reza says,
People do not derive their values from their scripture. People insert their values in their scripture.
what what he really means is...
If there's a turd in the swimming pool, you don't go swimming in the swimming pool. And so no matter how wonderful a scripture may be, no matter how much it talks about love and peace and compassion and all of those things, if there's one verse in there that is horrific according to our 21st century sensibilities, then you should reject the entire thing.
And when Reza says...
You can disagree with the belief.
What he really means is...
I'm going to kill you for your beliefs.
I almost forgot. And when Reza Aslan says that ISIS is not Islamic, and that Islamic terrorism is not Islamic, and that Islamic terrorists are not Muslims, what he actually means is...
If you call yourself a Christian, if you call yourself a Muslim, if you call yourself a Jew, you are those things. And no one can tell you that you are not that thing.
Oh, you see, fair is fair. You guys shouldn't have been stupid motherfuckers.
The Muslims are worse than everyone else.
All religions are bad, but Islam is the worst of them.
The text of the Quran says be violent.
Okay.
That is why Muslims are violent.
Well, the
more
text
violent on average.
Don't be like Cenk Uygur. Don't be like the Young Turks. Don't be like Reza Aslan. Don't be like Muhammad either. Be liberal instead. Stand by liberal principles, freedom, and equality. And of course, fuck the regressive left.
I'm going to kill you for your beliefs.